This week on By the Numbers, join us as we take a look at consumer spending on travel. Are consumers making travel spending a priority? We'll also be taking a look at consumer sentiment by political party. But for now, sit back, relax, and join us as we take you through the numbers. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lindsay.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. You look like a kiss of spring today.
I'm manifesting.
I know, I feel you. I think we're actually going to have some nice weather here in New England. Nice weather. It's going to be like 40s.
Hey.
So the headline is simple here. People are making travel spending a priority. Travel demand grows, but analysts have an eye on sentiment. And the reason for that eye on sentiment seems to be the citing of some of these safety issues that have been in the news headlines quite a bit.
Yes. So we're going to unpack that because when we talk sentiment, I mean it two very different ways. First, in terms of, do I feel safe getting on a plane right now?
Right.
But also consumer sentiment overall. And I thought this article was really interesting to juxtapose. I don't want to jump the gun, but against the second one, which is that consumer sentiment in terms of not how safe do I feel, but just how good do I feel about spending. That's moving in a different direction, some nuances to pick apart there. But overall, yes, as we've said so many times before on the show, we value experiences and people are putting their dollars toward travel, toward things to do, not things to own. And so we wanted to put some numbers behind that today.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, travel saw healthy growth last year with airline and cruise bookings hitting new all-time highs, and the industry groups were expecting to push even higher here into 2025. I just pulled a quote from the beginning of this article that says, the days of post-pandemic revenge travel.
I love that.
I loved that. Revenge travel, when bookings were growing at double-digit rates, might be over. But the ghost of revenge travel, the spirit of revenge travel, lives on.
Yes.
So yeah, just like you were saying, consumers are notably wanting to spend their discretionary income more on experiences. In fact, with the onslaught of social media and just the access that you have to so many different people's lives, I'll say lives through the social media lens, travel has almost taken on a persona. It almost becomes part of your identity. So of course, we're going to be willing to spend money in that category. So take us to the numbers. It says there was good strength last year. What is 2025
There
looking
was,
like?
yeah. So I'll put some numbers behind it. The first one is $188.7 billion. That is the amount of personal consumption expenditures on airlines, so air tickets in 2024. Again, $188.7 billion.
$188.7 billion on airlines.
On airlines, and that is up 11.9%.
Wow. And who travels to the United States most frequently?
So the big one is Canada.
Okay.
They had the most recent data I could pull was from 2023 for this, but 20.5 million arrivals from Canada, 14.5 from Mexico. Those are by far the two largest. It makes sense because you're right there, right? We've got borders with either of these. The next biggest is a big jump down, the UK at 3.9 million. And then Europe is frequent, right? Some kind of South America, Asia filter in below those.
Well, then
Think
you
about
hear people
as crashing.
say the chances of you getting in an airplane crash are X compared to this many more times for a car accident or a train accident or something. I have a hard time with that. As you know, I did lose a family member in a commercial airliner crash in 1998. So it's a very real thing for my family. In fact, we have like a whole routine when you get on the plane. You make sure this is my flight number, this is my seat number, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm landing, just to try to cover our bases as much as possible. So when somebody tries to throw statistics at me, it doesn't necessarily calm me, but that was before this job. So now I do want to know.
I guess the other question I would ask is, do you know anyone who's been in a car accident?
Well, yeah.
Do you know anyone who's been in a motorcycle? That's the real dangerous one. If you find, and again, 2022 data is the most recent I have, very different than 1998. I fully acknowledge that. But injury rates per 100 million miles traveled, just to scale it into context, we all know motorcycles are ridiculously dangerous. 339 injuries per 100 million miles. That's huge.
Right.
Buses were actually relatively unsafe, 54.1 injuries per 100 million miles. Cars and trucks were 42.0. Railroad, relatively safe, have been some deaths though, 7.3. So getting down into very statistically unlikely.
Yep.
Air travel. So again, our next highest was railroad at 7.3 injuries. Air travel was 0.007.
0.007
injuries per, or injuries or deaths, right?
Injuries or deaths.
Yeah, I guess you are more likely to. Actually, that's not true. There can be injuries in, say, severe turbulence. It's not that a plane crash is all or nothing.
Yeah, true.
But in 2022, there were 47 injuries in air travel that were quoted in this 100 million mile statistic. So it is statistically, even if it doesn't feel like it in our very recency bias type of brains, it is much, much safer to travel per mile traveled by plane.
But that's all the time we have for today on our free preview. If you'd like to join us for the full-length episode where we take another dive to a different level of consumer sentiment and CEO sentiment, click on the link in the description below. Here you can subscribe to our Insider Plus membership, where you'll get not only this full-length episode, but prior episodes as well. You'll also receive monthly webinars and monthly reporting on ITR's outlook on the overall economy. So we look forward to welcoming you as our next Insider Plus member. But until next time, bye, Lauren.
Bye, Lindsay.